Freaky tales, freaky tales. Freaky tales, freaky tales. What are you, freaky tales? This has been one of the more difficult films to pin down since I started reviewing movies. It must have been The Green Glow or something like that. Before I get started, you need to ask yourself, do you have the power of green? If you don't, unfortunately, this movie isn't for you. If you do, well, come on inside. The weather's hot, but the heart isn't humid. I don't really have much of an intro for this one, so we'll get right into the synopsis. Freaky Tales is the story of the city of Oakland in 1987, which has a lot of strangeness going on. As a series of anthology stories, it chronicles different parts of the area with outrageous tales of revenge, rap battle, and beating up Nazis. And this is going to sound like a crazy statement, but beating up Nazis makes this a pretty timely movie, a film that's always meta in mind, and its pulpy progressivism is easily one of its greatest strengths. They don't set you up with complex situations more than they want to entertain the audience with a revenge fantasy, and that's totally fine for the film it wants to be. The world is what it was, a place filled with sexism and racism and everything, but this story was basically designed to give people oppressed by these things in their day-to-day life a chance to see these shitbags all go to hell. I'm typically not a fan of escapism in cinema, but for this movie it's so clear that their politics are in check that I'd give it a pass. The film has such an overt style to it that I think it could end up being a little divisive among audiences. It seems to take a lot from that 2000s comic book adaptation stuff like Scott Pilgrim or a little like Sin City. Okay, the Sin City thing was just one scene basically, but it really reminded me of Sin City, and I can't think of other films that have that distinct style. It's pulpy like I said earlier, and while it doesn't have much that'll stick with you, it's definitely a fun ride while you're there. Because it was so focused on style though, I thought it was lacking when it came to plot and character development. Stories were simple, living without emotional complexity and not taking any turns that you wouldn't see coming. Was it satisfying? Of course! I mean, they're beating up Nazis. But I think if you're going to make a film like this, you need your camera work to be super inventive, or you need your characters to be incredibly interesting or unique. Not that this film wasn't fun, it was fun, but most of the characters are either cliche or the story they were in was cliche. The actors were really good, there's a whole list of great ones here, and I think that's what keeps this film above water, that the actors have the charisma to pull off what they're doing. Pedro Pascal signed into this one, offering what I imagine is the credibility to get this film off the ground. He was probably the best one in the ensemble. He brought an intensity to the role and a seriousness which kept you engaged with his character even when all the crazy shit was going on around him. He didn't act like he was in this pulpy spectacle. He acted as if he was this person and allowed the filmmakers to make the kind of film they wanted to make out of it. Other notable performances include Ji Young-yu, a punk rock champion who gave some energized work, and Jay Ellis, who I love so much from the show Insecure. Side tangent on that, Insecure is probably the most underrated show of all time. It's definitely the most underrated sitcom. Please, for the love of God, watch Insecure. I promise you won't be disappointed. Jay Ellis is fantastic in it, and I've always felt like he's been underutilized in Hollywood since then. One day, he'll get his flowers. He continues to prove again in this movie why he's got the sauce. His Sleepy Joe character is by far the best in the ensemble and the most interesting and exciting to watch. As far as other notable performances go, I have to give some love to the late great Angus Cloud of Euphoria fame, who tragically passed a few years ago. He was born and raised in Oakland, so it was cool to see him for the time that we did. It also dates the movie a little bit. I'm happy for the filmmakers that it could get released, honestly. A lot of movies can get thrown into hell after so long on the shelf, but I guess the emergence of Pascal's superstardom allowed them to roll the dice. Tom Hanks was also in it, and he was solid, but he had me thinking, like, damn, how'd you make it in here? 10 years ago, that cameo would have been gangbusters. Seeing Tom Hanks lose relevance makes me scared for my mortality. It's like watching my film dad grow old before my eyes. But again, I have difficulty pinning down criticism of this movie because it doesn't really attempt to do anything crazy. In a way, it's similar to my rant in the amateur review in which I lament films that lack ambition. I do feel that here, this film also lacked ambition. I feel strongly that you can be pulpy and visually arresting without sacrificing character work and story complexity. It puts a ceiling on the movie's potential, which was pre-built in the concept. Also, a lot of the visual choices seem to just be tools for grabbing your attention, as opposed to actual enhancements to the plot. The aspect ratio in particular, I don't know why they changed it throughout the film. just felt like something they did because they felt like doing it. But what separates this film from a film like The Amateur is that this one knew what it was, it made an effort to be enjoyable, and more importantly, it seemed to have a genuine love for the city and for the communities inside it. It was cool to check out the punk scene in that era. It was interesting to look into how people saw the Warriors. It was cool to see late 80s rap style. Actually, that's another good thing about the film. The music was pretty interesting. It had a suave beat between chapters, and it was constantly intersecting with the story. As far as shot selection, lighting, and all the technical stuff, it was mostly like the plot. It was cliche, it looked like a film, but it didn't do more than that. Basically, it existed to keep the story going, and it didn't seem like there was much attempt to do anything more. The production design was alright, but I wouldn't be surprised if they were using recycled TV sets to save money on the budget. Like I said, it's a solid flick, a good pop at a party, and I think it's best watched with a group of people you know. Some movies are movies you can talk over, and I think this is one of them. And I really don't mean that as an insult at all. I mean, it's a movie that's built for sharing with your friends. I'm gonna give it a crush because it's got the motion of the ocean. Please remember to get freaky in your day-to-day life. Before I go, I just want to say a quick thank you for watching this video. It means a lot, especially for a small channel, for you to like and subscribe or to comment. Whether you liked the video or didn't, I just feel happy that you decided to watch as much of it as you did, and if you want to check out more videos like this, there's a whole library of film reviews that you may want to check out. So if you liked this movie, if you didn't like this movie, let me know what you think. I know so many members of my audience are far smarter than I am, so I'm always looking for more interesting ways to analyze media. In the meantime, I will see you in the next video, and I wish you the best on your demons today.